Right. Stiggy, you want to share a screen? All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm with Sarah Adam today, who's Wix's head of partnerships and AI. And we're going to dig in really where AI fits in with influencer marketing, with a little bit of flavor towards B2B marketing. What's actually getting automated with one of the best influencer marketing AI teams, where the human side matters, and a few tactical workflows that you can all learn from and take to your respective companies and programs. Last session, we had a great webinar when we dove into Momofuku's creator program with Jillian Boss. And today we're going to talk a lot more around using AI to scale it. And we will try to make this as helpful as possible, whether you sell skincare, snacks, software, or anything. So we'll really make it cross-vertical. Quick intro. My name's Paul. I'm CEO of Archive, and we build AI-powered tools for creator marketing. We've got open source creator marketing skills as well, and great software for creator discovery, social listening, and many more. We work with companies ranging from DoorDash to L'Oreal, all the way to smaller companies as well. But today, I am super excited to have a conversation with someone that I have learned so much, and many people have learned a lot from her phenomenal LinkedIn. Sarah Adam is joining us today. She's head of partnerships and AI at Wix, a platform that's behind over 70 million active websites. So they are huge. And she leads a team of 12 across partnerships, creator marketing, and AI adoption. They have about 300 people full time. And so they are doing a lot of great stuff. And she's actually built the entire creator program at Wix from 0 to 500 partnerships a year, which in B2B is huge, over 2,000 pieces of content a year. She's a Maven instructor, founding member of Global Influencer Council,
I'm blushing.
and yeah,
But keep
Stevie,
going, keep going.
I mean, we're almost done here,
Okay,
and we've all seen your great content. So welcome, Sarah. Super excited to do this.
cool. I have something to add because
Let's hear it.
I mean, it's true. I lead partnerships within our marketing department and AI adoption and also social. That's a new addition.
That's
So
true. The
yes.
scope is expanding. That's what happens when you crush. You get more responsibility and more great work to do.
Yeah, so crazy days.
Awesome. So, audience, we'll be looking at the chat. If you have questions, throw them in. We'll try to weave them into the conversation. But to start, Sarah, can you give us a quick rundown of what the team looks like across the different programs and what the influencer partnerships program looks like at Wix today?
Of course. So our program, I mean, I started the program roughly 4.5 years ago, both for our B2B and B2C focuses. However, the structure and our focuses have changed a lot over time. So I'd say for the first 2 years, 3 years, our focus was heavily on scale, on brand awareness, on really kind of becoming this crazy content machine. And I was focusing, and this was before AI and all the tools and automations we have today. So a lot of manual work. And we have always and still kind of insisted on keeping things in-house because we value the relationship with the influencer so much and we kind of want to own that. But the team and the structure has very much changed with the rise of AI and AEO and the importance of leveraging influencers for LLM visibility. So today, the way that we are structured is it's focusing on efforts by goal, kind of like, so we have one arm that is for LLM visibility. So we're working with creators on a monthly basis on YouTube for LLM visibility. We could talk about that. I think we're going to address that later on. I can go into detail of what that looks like. It's super interesting. And then we have another arm which is more for like awareness and paid kind of large scale campaigns for every kind of product launch. Like my team, we do touch on various products. It's not just one. There's a few brands within Wix that we take care of, that we manage. So there's like classic influencer marketing content that's going live on the influencers channel with a lot of creative freedom that we then, it either lives organically on their channel or we boost it. And then there's another arm, so this is a three-arm monster of specifically UGC. So working with real users on content that we then use as ads. So I'd say this is like the overall structure.
How's the effort split from a budget perspective? Is it 33, 33, 33? Is one arm
Um,
growing faster than the other? Obviously, AEO,
yeah,
I
I
imagine, is
would
on the newer side.
say, yeah, so it changes according to priorities. And I think any tech company knows how impossible it is to plan ahead and how dynamic things are and how things are changing from, I mean, from Q to Q would be a good thing. That would be quite steady, but like from month to month. So currently it is not equal. Currently the like classic influencer marketing is probably taking, including boosting, is taking a larger percent of the budget, and UGC and the LLM activity less. But that's also because it's not because that doesn't reflect importance or priority at all. It's just a different type of activity. I mean, with LLM visibility, for example, we're seeing more success with nano creators that are cheaper.
Mm,
But that doesn't mean that it's less important. It just means that we are able to spend less and get more than the other areas of activity where the size of the creator and their reach is more valuable to us and it costs more money.
awesome. And
Yeah.
it sounds like there's 12 people right on the team. What does that actually look like? Do they all report to you? Are there managers? Is it
So
everybody doing different things? What does a
yeah,
team
so
at
so
your
the
scale look
team,
like?
yeah, so there's around seven like partnership managers, which are doing influencer marketing, UGC, podcast partnerships, and other branding partnerships, content collaborations, like partner marketing. So it's like different types of activities. So not everyone is doing influencer marketing. Influencer marketing is probably four people full time out of that team, or five. And then the rest are from, because I explained that another part of my of the team that I run, although it has nothing to do with partnerships, is about AI adoption across our marketing department. And there we have a team of four led by a team lead.
Gotcha. Super
Um,
helpful.
yeah, now with social, there's another six people that are doing
The
social
squad
media.
is growing. The squad is growing. Awesome.
Yeah, but
Let's
it's
talk.
nice. It's cool because there are so many ways that we can now work together better than before when we were
Yeah,
split up. So it's
yeah.
good. It's good change.
Especially social and influencer, that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the workflow. You mentioned that right now about 50% of the workflow is done with AI. What does that actually look like day to day?
Yeah, so we have, and this is true across our entire department, not just my team. I feel that we're very fortunate that we have pretty much unlimited access to Claude Code, Base 44, which is a Wix product for an AI builder. Of course, Gemini, and the way that it's done is kind of like deliberately we were given access without guidance. Like the idea is to kind of allow us to be curious and to test things and to try things and then to share successes and failures between the teams so we can share skills and learn from each other how we do things. But basically, the way that we addressed the influencer marketing workflow specifically is we sat together and we mapped out the steps, the stages of the workflow, and tried to tackle each one, starting from the biggest one, or the one that is the biggest blocker or takes us the most time, or the tasks that we don't enjoy doing, that we would very much love something else to do, not someone else. So starting with that and just kind of working with, if it's asking Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude Chat, this is the workflow. This is what I do today in this specific step. How can I use AI? How can what and to like, I remember when I started doing it at the very beginning, I kind of blocked off like 2 days in my calendar to just test and test and test and test. And I mean, I said fortunate to have access, because you waste a lot of tokens on testing.
Yeah.
And I find, especially with influencer marketing related tasks, because if it's discovery, or if it's reporting, or if it's anything that requires AI to go into your logged in profiles and and kind of do the research for you, it takes a long time. I mean,
And when you
that's
say going
code.
into the logged in profiles, are you using Google Chrome extensions, for example, that are controlled by AI to
For
do those things?
example, yeah, so with Claude Code specifically, we use across the department, everyone's using it from the desktop version. So we first download to the desktop version. We download the the Chrome extension, the Claude Chrome extension. Um, and that allows Claude to go through. So if I want Claude to do influencer discovery for me, or to review a specific creator. So I will specifically ask it to log in through to go through the Chrome extension. And Claude Code, to be honest, can be super annoying for those kind of things, because so many times it has figured it out, whether it needed me to do something in the terminal, or it just figured it out on its own. And then I'll ask it to do the same thing or something similar a day later, and it's like, oh, I can't do that. And it's like, yes, you can. It's like, go to your memory and check what you did last time, because you did it.
Are
Um,
you building how are you building out that process and that documentation? Are you building skills and sharing them with your team?
yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
share
so
prompts? What does that look like?
currently we are creating. So, well, I think what's good about the way we use Claude Code is each one uses it the way they like to use it, and there are many ways to do the same thing. So, for example, I don't know, for let's say bulk reach out emails, like you could have a Claude skill. Or you could just, if you have a prompt that you prefer to use every time and you don't want to use a Claude skill, so you could still achieve the same result if you prefer to do it a different way. Or if you use if you want to do things with a specific project, like if you're super organized, it would make sense to have a project for each campaign. And then every time you want Claude to do something related to that campaign, you'll go into the same project and ask a question, or ask it to review a script, or ask it to search for more influencers because you don't have enough, or whatever. But not everyone likes to work in that way. So I think it's good that, everyone on the team can work with Claude the way they want to. But Skills is a terrific way to help and share processes that have worked. I always say with Skills specifically, like you can create a skill from scratch, right? That's one option, where you go into, you go into Claude Code, customize skills, create a new skill, and you basically tell Claude what you want this skill to do, and it creates the skill. But it definitely does not end there, right? You need to test the skill and you need to give it feedback. So I prefer to do it the other way. Like, I turn that process upside down. I start with whatever pain point, whatever challenge, whatever task I need it to do. And I'll work with Claude Code until it completes it the way I like it. And that could take time. And then when it's done and I'm happy with the results, I will say, now create a skill file. Right. So
Uh,
I do it that way. So I test. So it's like I don't have to do the testing afterwards. I've already done it.
Yeah.
Um, and then I then feel more confident to share it with my team or with other coworkers because I know it works. Um,
When you've obviously been at the frontier here and done quite a lot successfully with AI, I'd love to hear one workflow. Maybe what was it like before? How does it look like now with AI that really
yeah,
you feel like AI was transformational, super helpful?
yeah,
One that is kind of close, but maybe you're stuck on right now. And then another one that you tried and you're like, yo, it's not there yet. AI is
yeah,
not there yet.
yeah,
So
yeah.
walk us through
I think,
one in each category.
yeah. So the one that I feel is a game changer, and it's not a game changer time-wise, like it is, but not significantly, but it is in terms of quality. And that is script reviews. So when an influencer provides a script, it could be a script, it could be an outline, the creative angle they want to take, and it could be anything written, or if it's the caption or the video description, whatever it is, usually a script. So when I share that, I give Claude Code the brief and I give it the script, and then to have it give me comments in a Google Doc format, which is super helpful because that's how we then share it with the influencer. Um, that I found it's kind of really, I think it's the only flow so far that really kind of impressed me. I was like, wow, because there was stuff there when I talk about quality, like things that when I viewed the video and kind of documented my feedback and then did it with Claude Code. There were things that I did not see.
Yeah.
Uh,
Are
so
you,
I
and
felt
is
that
this
was
a,
great.
are you reviewing the scripts or are you reviewing the actual videos too now?
So also reviewing videos also works really nicely with Claude Code. We do it for short form. Um, I
Given
don't see
that,
why it should
how
work.
have you felt that Claude Code does reviewing the video, given that Claude by itself can't watch videos? Does it break the video
So
down into
it
frames
breaks
for
it
you?
down to frames.
Gotcha. That's
Yeah,
interesting. On the
yeah,
archive side, we've been building new tools using Gemini. Gemini can actually watch videos, and so we've started doing that. And to your point, when you're watching hundreds of videos, sometimes you forget about the small details, the
yes,
small things. It becomes
yeah,
very repetitive. And so having an AI checklist in front of you that's like,
for
hey,
sure.
these 10
And
things
I
were
think,
noticed, you can still kind of ignore them or tweak them.
yeah,
But
yeah.
having that foundation is like a really big time saver.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we can also, someone on my team, she built a skill where she also for script review, where it is linked to, it's connected to our support articles for our entire suite of products. So it's also checking, like from the like a very technical perspective, did they name the feature correctly, or did they what the
Right.
influence is claiming our tool does. Does it really do that, or is it misleading? So that's really cool if you can, it's all about the quality and the extent of of our input, right? Of the data that we're giving it to then give us the output, the best possible output. So it
Yeah.
is, I think it is critical before we do things like this, is just ask ourselves, like, what other documents besides the brief, for example, maybe I should give it a messaging doc, like maybe I should give it the branding breakdown, maybe a demo, like any other documents about the product, um, maybe even recordings from team meetings about the new releases, just to kind of think of the input.
Yeah. The more
Um,
context we've seen, the better.
the more
And then,
context.
and also
Yeah.
just not stuffing it. You can actually work with AI to trim down the meeting recordings to extract the relevant info and then pass that, right? So that pass can be helpful.
Yeah.
We have two quick questions from here that I'd love to get your take on. And before that, one thing I want to add that we've been seeing across, especially larger customers that get a lot of content, is with Archive, we've recently released this feature called AI filters, where you can actually watch every piece of video come in and customize your prompt. And a lot of people are now using it to screen UGC, for example, to rank whether it's going to perform or to check for FTC
That's
violations and things
nice.
like that.
Yeah.
And so really excited to have
Yeah,
AI
yeah,
help
yeah.
watch
I
videos.
feel that I think tools like that, so using AI to review content at scale, I think it's also critical, not just for the in-house marketers, but for agencies.
Yeah,
It's when you're a brand, you're working with an agency, you don't want the agency to just be the middleman who's just taking the video and just pressing forward and saying, here it is for your review. No, no, no. Like you want that agency to do the first round for you.
exactly. It's and
Um,
it should be the way we've seen it best is the agency should be like, "Hey Sarah, here's my feedback on the video. What do you think of my feedback?" And then it's almost like a calibration, but you don't want to be
for
catching
sure.
things of the agency. So two really quick questions from the chat. How many creator partnerships in, let's say, the Wix type of model, a little bit more B2B, right? Can one influencer marketer today be able to manage?
Okay, so I always say, and I don't think AI has like transformed this like crazy because because at the end of the day you're managing individuals that are very important individuals, and there is the element of relationship and communication that I wouldn't give to AI. But I would say around like um 50 partnerships max, I think, a month for one person full time.
Yeah. And another quick question here regarding the edits. Paige asked, how often do you ask for edits after videos have been submitted? I notice creators typically expect zero edits after the video is
Yeah.
submitted. I have an answer there, but you can go
So
first.
yeah, so when we do see when we ask for scripts in advance and we give feedback on the script, we do see a much shorter time, like, then maybe we'll only need like between 0 to 1 rounds of edits. But we never give feedback for the sake of giving feedback, right? And when we do give feedback, we make sure it is precise, it is only if it's critical, right? That it's not we're not giving feedback about the influencer's style or the music they chose to put in the background or what they're wearing or anything like that, because if we don't like that stuff, we shouldn't have chosen to work with them. Like that's our problem. So we focus on what's critical. If they said, like someone today, I gave feedback, they in the captions it said cloud code instead of Claude code, for
Yeah,
example, right? So it's stuff that's critical. It's stuff that you cannot go live without it.
that's
If the logo was wrong, if they use the wrong workflow, which is very true for tech, like if they presented I mean, this also happened to me last week. The screen, the influencer was talking about a specific flow, but the screen recording was showing something else entirely. So obviously we can't. So I think anything that would prevent it from going live, we need to comment about. It's very important. Obviously, we try in that first round of feedback, once the video is ready, to really cover everything, because it's awful when you give all the feedback, they made the changes, and it's like, oh shit, I missed a certain thing.
yeah.
Uh, so yeah.
We'll head over to the next section, Sigi, but I want to answer also Paige's question based on some other customers we work with. We've seen a big skew on revisions depending on the relationship. If you're gifting and there's not a clear expectation, well, you can't even expect a dedicated post,
Yeah.
let alone revisions on the
Yeah,
post,
sure.
right? But when we are seeing companies, especially some of the faster growing AI companies that are putting $10,000 on a video, $5,000 in a video, $50,000 a video, that process typically involves a script review and two edits. And it's really important to get the script review right because you don't want to, edit
Yeah.
the script in a further video. But for contracted influencers, we are seeing it's pretty common and they are expecting these videos. And one of the things that brands can do to have great relationship with these influencers is to do a great job with these reviews, right? Do them quickly, do them prompt so things can get moving.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what people can try today with automating influencers activations and parts of the
Yeah.
program. Sarah, I know you had some ideas to share there.
Yeah, I mean, look, with we could go through the flow, but I think, I mean, something for like kind of a quick fix would be to automating the reach outs. Like if you're not using a platform that does it for you, if you are email first, then that's something, if you're reaching out to a very large list, like 100 influencers at a time, 200, 500. I mean, doing that manually would be a complete waste of time, take you forever. So doing that with Claude Code, and I'm sure with other AI tools, is a real changer, a game changer, right? So once Claude Code, for example, it's connected to your email and your Google Drive, and once you give it like the skill that I've created, and also happy to share with anyone, just DM me and I'll share it with you. But basically, you give you upload to Claude, you share with Claude Code. It could be a Google Sheet of the influencers you want to reach out to. If you already have emails, great. If not, then Claude can help enrich that list. And then you give it your template, unless you want Claude Code to create the templates. But I think if you have a template that works, so I would use that and have it create the emails for you. A huge time saver. Now, if you're only reaching out to a handful, then it'll probably be quicker for you to just do it on your own, right? Than tell Claude what to do. But yeah, if we're reaching out to over, I mean, definitely over 20 and certainly in the hundreds, then that can really help save time.
You talked about one of your sessions when we were catching up, I think drafted over or 1,894 emails, um, which is super high volume. How much time does it actually save if someone wants to make a case to leadership like, hey, I want to invest in AI, I need access to these tools, here's the ROI on my time. What have you seen with your team? What are
Yeah.
some numbers that they could bring back to the team?
I find it hard to believe that there are tech companies out there that are not using these tools. I mean, wow. But in times of time saved, so it would be necessary to break that down per task. But like reach out emails, like if you're doing it manually one by one, I mean, it could take, I don't know, 2 minutes an email if you're doing it manually. But I mean, copy paste. Like I don't mean writing it from scratch every time, right? So you could just calculate, okay, when I do it with Claude Code, it takes me. Well, it depends if Claude Code actually sends the email for you, but I don't think I'd trust it. I would For me, it saves it in the draft and I open it, just take a look and then press send. Um, but I mean, I guess it's just a question of priorities and time management if you're brave enough to let it do it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and you've been doing this for some time. What's something interesting that you learned about working with AI as your partner here in some of these activities?
Yeah, I think, and this could be something that many marketers feel that are not necessarily in influencer marketing, but in other fields. But I think it didn't take long to understand that the entire workflow can be done by AI, and then I just have to go home. Because, we don't want to just be a marketing QA person our entire life. But I think what it has taught me or made me question is which are the steps in the workflow that I appreciate most, that I enjoy, that it is why I do what I do. And what is it that I do not want AI to do? Because if AI takes that from me, then where's the fun in my day to day? Like, why am I doing what I'm doing? I could be doing anything else. So to me, that's the influencer relationship. Like, I guess it did make me realize, or at least it made it even clearer than it was before, that is what I think makes influencer marketing so special is the interaction with the influencer and what that relationship can bring when it's real. And I think especially in today's crazy market, and so many tools, so many AI tools, so many influencers, and in the end, if there are so many tools that do the same thing and we're all working with the same influencers, like how are you going to be different? Like how, and I think it is the relationship that
Yeah.
makes it different. So yeah, I suppose that kind of is a really important insight. Because when you work directly with the creators, you understand the value, not just of strengthening the relationship and having them be able to provide a fast turnaround on content and understand what it is that you like and what you don't like. And it's not just about like that long-term partnership, but it's also there's a lot, and this is particular for tech and B2B, is the product feedback you can get from influencers if you're actually talking to them directly, especially if it's a new feature, a new product launch, just to ask them, hey, what do you think?
Yeah.
No, it can
100%.
be it can be really critical because after all, like influencers, even if they didn't start off as a real user, I mean, they know your competitors and other similar tools way better than you ever will because they're using them all the time.
Hmm. Yeah,
So it's critical feedback.
I think that's phenomenal feedback. We were working with an AI company that launched a desktop tool, and they were early to market. They tried to get the influencers to install. The influencers had privacy concerns, and they were able to address that with good messaging, product updates. But that helped them figure that out way sooner than,
Yeah.
scrambling on a launch. So that's great feedback. A quick question: what Claude models do you typically use with Claude Code?
Okay, so I'll be honest, I don't even look at that. That may be a huge mistake, but I just use
Do you,
Claude.
do you see if he's using if well he or she or they
I never,
is using
I'll be honest, again, this may be a huge mistake. I don't consider it. I don't look at it. I don't think about it. I'll always start off with chat and I'll ask Claude Chat, hey, this is my problem or this is what I want to do. I'll attach all the documents, whatever, and then I'll always ask it, should I do this with Claude Code, Claude Cowork? Should I do it with you? Like what? And then and give me the prompt. And I'll
there you
be
go.
honest, it's never ever said to me, oh, make sure you're using such and such. Like, so I guess that's homework for me to look into
All
that later.
right. Has anybody heard of AEO? Everybody's talking about this stuff. Well, we've got some things to talk about with regards to influencer marketing playing a big part of that. Give us a
Yeah.
little bit of context here, Sarah, as we kick things off. Like, how is influencer connected with AEO?
Wow, it is so connected. It's crazy.
And
Uh,
by the way, okay, maybe just explain AEO for folks that are hearing it for the first time.
Okay, but this is from someone who's not an SEO expert, an AEO expert, a GEO expert. Okay, these are my words. But we've shifted to AI search, right? And AI search is different to SEO, right? To Google search or on other browsers. And AEO is like it's basically SEO for AI search. So what do you need to do as a brand or as an individual to make sure that your content is being cited by LLMs, meaning LLMs read it, know you exist, recommend you in their responses to people in questions that are relevant to you. That's how I see it and explain it. And I think, we know from tons of research that's going on, and I think anyone who's on LinkedIn, certainly if you're a marketer, you cannot. I mean, there's no way your feed does not touch on AEO, but I mean, it is known from research, and you can see it in the questions. If you look at the sources of the answers that you get in LLMs, you see that Reddit is huge for citations, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, I don't think you need to be an expert to understand that as a brand, you need people talking about you on those platforms, right? And who could those people be? Like it could be real users, it could be influencers, it could be UGC creators. Like, so I mean, you don't have to sit back and wait and hope that someone's going to talk about you. You could do influencer marketing, you could do employee advocacy, you can pay people to talk about you, basically. And when you do that, you need to be very conscious about the topic they're talking about, and how they're talking about that topic. What are the specific words or phrases you want them to say? If it's a video, what should the title be? What should the description be? I mean, wow, I've discovered that it is a whole different world. It's fascinating. And there are
And
tools today that you can track, you can understand two things. One, which creators or users are being cited today in LLMs for the questions that you as a brand are targeting. That's number one. And number two is the influencers, the users, the employees that you're working with to create content to target those questions. Are they being cited? And if they are, how many times a month and on which tools? So,
speaking of, what does that look like practically in the program? What are the maybe three most actionable things people can do to run an AEO
yeah.
initiative?
So
What are
it
you using to
starts,
check what are you
yeah,
using to check the links? How do you think
yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
activating them? All that.
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, credit to our amazing AEO team. Okay, this isn't just me. Like we work very, very, very closely with them and they're amazing. It starts off by defining the questions that you want to target on LLMs. So as a brand, in whatever niche you're in, what are the questions that when someone, a potential user, is asking LLM that question, you need to show up in the results, right? So if someone's asking for top, what are the three best AI builders for a travel app, for example? So do you want to be one of those three, for example? Okay, so I think step one is to define the questions, right? Like any campaign, anything you do, what's success? Right? So that's number one. And then number two is breaking down those questions. What should the answer look like? Or because from there you can break down or kind of reverse engineer the brief that you would need to give to whoever is going to be creating content to answer that specific question, right? I mean, it's really, there's so many nuances. I wouldn't say it's simple, and you have to take a lot of chances too, because you could be paying influencers to create content and maybe your brief is perfect and you approved the script and the structure and the names, everything was in there, like it just ticked all the boxes, but it's not getting cited and you have no idea why, right? So it's not perfect by any means, and you do need to do a lot of testing. And we find that working with smaller creators is more suitable for this kind of workflow and brief than larger
What
creators.
size range have you seen as the sweet spot?
Like even tiny, like a few hundred views a video.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good insight.
Yeah.
Um, Amazing. How do you measure this? What does winning an AEO look like? How do you keep track of
Yeah.
which
So
influencers or which videos perform, especially
yeah.
given that 100 views can now get you cited?
So we are still figuring it out. This is the truth, okay? Because it's such a new field, and we don't have enough data to yet create benchmarks. But what we do know, is and there are many tools that do this. We specifically use a tool called Athena or Athena.
Mhm.
Um, but there are other tools that do this as well. But we can see I mean, we measure it after a week since the video went live. We can see if it's being cited or not. So that's like the first KPI. And then we need to give it time to learn KPIs, like how to learn benchmarks, sorry, like how many times, how many citations in 30 days is considered good, you know?
Yeah.
And then we'll have creators that, they're being cited, and then suddenly there's a video, where we did the same protocol and it's not being cited, right? So you do have to kind of understand, I guess, like any partnership with influencers, sometimes it flops, sometimes it pops, but you can't always define the exact reason why it did or it didn't work.
Awesome. Super helpful. We can go a little bit over, which is great news, given that we have a lot of questions. But we are going to swap over to Q&A. Sarah, this was amazingly helpful. So many insightful
Cool.
topics, actionable, high level, all the good stuff. A couple notes on the archive side. If you want to start experimenting with some of the workflows that Sarah described, we have a free library of AI skills specifically built for creator marketing. They're open source. You can plug them into ChatGPT, Claude Code, Cowork, whatever you want, and even Gemini. Sigi is going to drop a link in the chat right now. Christina, do not worry. And they're great for discovery, average content review, and all of that stuff. We also launched a new feature called our AI Deep Research Reports, where we can analyze up to 25,000 videos about your business or about competitors. What are their creators doing? Whatever you want. And we have a special offer for this webinar for all of you here. The first 10 people that fill out the form in the chat will get you a report completely on us. We can break down the playbook that your most loved or hated competitor is doing. And we've got a lot more webinars coming. Thank you all for tuning in. We will spend the next few minutes going through some more questions. All right.
Cool.
But thank you so much, Sarah. Um,
Yeah, of
how
course.
many creators are you typically managing, and how are you using AI to work through metrics, rates, CPMs? And well, those are already two good questions.
Okay. So in terms of scale, so it really depends, like I said, because we have different focuses according to goals. But it's around it's like 100 plus videos a month. But it really depends on the focus. Like obviously, if it's during a launch, then it's higher. If it's ongoing, then it stabilizes. So it's a bit difficult to answer. It's usually easier if we look at it like maybe at the level of the quarter, definitely of the year. But it's
Yeah,
certainly a few hundred partnerships a year, which is a few thousand videos.
awesome. This is a nice, simple, easy, quick question to answer. Where do you think influencer marketing for tech is headed over the next 2 to 3 years? And what should tech brands start doing today to stay ahead? Obviously, a little ironic teaser to the
Yeah.
question, but what do you think?
Yeah, I find it impossible to predict anything these days just because things are changing so drastically. I do find, like, I do hear from, and this isn't too new, and I'm sure there are people that can relate. I think there is a big challenge where you have the huge brands that have huge budgets and they're paying creators basically whatever they ask for. And then you get creators, for example, in the AI, in the image and video generation space that are charging between 30K to like 90K for one reel. So it's enough if you have two ginormous brands paying those amounts, and then it just becomes normal. Like it just becomes the benchmark for that niche. And I think that makes it very difficult for smaller brands that have smaller budgets to make an impact. So possibly, I mean, the solution would be nanos, but you would need to invest in boosting as well. And I think that's a very good solution. So possibly we're heading to even more. I mean, nano creators is not new, right? But possibly that will get even stronger. I think also, leveraging influencers for AEO has to get bigger and better for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That related to that, well, it's yeah, we've definitely seen the rates just pick up like crazy. I mean, for the you don't have to name the influencer, but what size of following, for example, for that one that you mentioned,
I
almost
think
90,
that
what,
one
90K
was
video?
is yeah, so for tech pretty big, I think around the 500K mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the
But that
thing is
is wildly different
also,
than other industries.
yeah, it varies significantly.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, we've also seen brands coach creators on using AI for the first time. And so there's always been this concept of finding influencers early and betting on their success, setting up long-term partnerships with them so your influencer program can grow with them.
yeah.
We're seeing brands do that as well with the AI flavor of content that people are posting. You find chefs that maybe aren't using AI, and maybe you're helping them use your technology
Yeah.
in a different way and whatnot. And
Yeah,
so finding creators early, and a lot of creators actually are excited about testing out new AI content because they see that it's a big
for
business
sure.
opportunity for them.
For
So we've
sure.
seen that too.
Yeah, I think that's a huge opportunity as well. Like if you're an AI product, tech product, you don't have to work with influencers that all they do every day is talk about AI tools. Like, because those kind of influencers, because they don't specialize in a specific niche, their content will always stay shallow, meaning they won't be able to deep dive into very specific use cases because they're not, they stay at a level that's quite simple that their videos are just like, hey, check out this new tool. If you have this challenge, it will solve it for you. But I agree that when you go to if you take a kind of long tail approach and you work with the specific verticals that are strong for your product and have them talk about working with AI in their specific use cases, it's far more authentic and relevant for your ICP and
Cool.
and
And
possibly much cheaper as well.
exactly, well, definitely, usually definitely much cheaper.
Yeah.
And do you find that influencers or brand-owned channels will service better than AEO? Does it matter? Have you tested both?
What do you mean the difference between?
I guess maybe Caroline, if you want to clarify your question in chat, we can try to tune it a little bit. But
Okay.
I imagine, hey, should we be investing in our own YouTube channel or
Okay, okay,
or
okay.
working with
So,
influencers on their channels?
so it's a question of authority. Like, how strong is your channel, right? Because when we work with creators, especially if they have authority in a very specific niche that we're targeting, so so that is really important for LLM citation. Like, how very relevant are they for the niche? Like, is it someone that's constantly talking about that one thing, versus working with a very large creator that doesn't have authority in that specific niche, but you've asked them to talk about it, even though they don't usually, or maybe they talk about topics that are kind of next to it, adjacent to it. And then, of course, your own channels. I think it's important I think brands need to be at both. Like, they need to also be investing in their own content for AEO purposes, but also with creators. And like I mentioned before, like the very niche specific is very important. So don't get blinded by like working with huge YouTubers and saying, okay, well, if I do, it'll be cited. Because it clearly doesn't work that way. And once you have a tool and you're seeing the exact posts that are currently getting, or videos that are currently getting cited for your target questions, you will know the type of influencers you should be going after, right? Because you need, if it's tiny creators, then that's who you need to be working with for this specific purpose.
Yeah, yeah, the research up front makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What about clipping? Have you used clipping? Where do you see clipping fit in on the
What
tech
do you
side of
mean
things?
by clipping?
You know how this was especially big with streamers where they would incentivize people to make clips of their streams and post
Ah,
those clips with oftentimes faceless accounts on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts.
Got
People
it.
take, so for example, with this webinar, people would make some clips, post it, and then if we were clipping, we could incentivize people. Hey, whoever gets 1 million videos with our clips will get $1 per CPM or $10 per
Got it. Got
CPM.
it. Got it. Okay, so no, we don't do that. So I
What,
don't.
yeah, what we're seeing across the brands that we work with at Archive on the clipping side is that it's really good if there's source content that is very entertaining. So if your platform can have a ton of UGC, maybe you're a streaming platform and you have a bunch of streamers, lots of UGC. Maybe you're a gaming company, lots of UGC. Maybe you're a music festival, cool, lots of videos, people at the concert, etc.
Yeah. Yeah.
That can work really well. One of the biggest problems people have with clipping is that it's hard to scale. It's also hard to track whether the views or not. And it's
Yeah,
also very
tracking sounds difficult.
right. But the hardest part of it is actually controlling the messaging. With influencer marketing, you can brief
Right.
influencers to get your message across. With clipping, it becomes very difficult
Yeah.
because people will take the moment where you fumbled or
Yes, 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 yes.
peed your pants or something silly and then blow that up.
So it's a bit
And so
similar to affiliates where, in many brands they don't control the narrative. You give someone a
exactly.
link and they do
Yeah,
it.
it's like,
Yeah.
hey, if you get performance, it performs. Okay, last question to end this from Vanessa. What is the most underrated platform today for tech brands?
Hmm. Um, Underrated meaning they're not there.
I'll answer however you'd like.
Yeah. I I
Sarah's
have
about to
been
ruin her
I've been
arbitrage.
on many conversations with tech marketers that assume that TikTok and Instagram is not for them. So I mean, for us, Instagram is our best performing channel. So I would like if you're not on Instagram, on TikTok, if you're convinced in your mind that your ICP isn't there, I would challenge that and I would just search manually for the names of your competitors and see if they're there or not. Like if they're there, then you should definitely be there. And if they're not there, you should also be there because they're not there. So, so yeah, I would say don't underestimate platforms that you typically think that your gut is like, oh no, that's B2C.
Yeah, I think that's huge. All of the people that are buying the products, they commute, they get bored sometimes,
Of
they're
course.
scrolling, and so they're there, and it's just about
Yeah.
targeting them. One anecdote is I was recently talking to a security tech creator, and ServiceNow did some campaigns with her. I mean,
Yeah.
ServiceNow is like the most enterprise company in the world, and they
Yeah.
are activating creators on Instagram, and that is a sign of the times.
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice.
And
Yeah.
there's so many different ways to do it, right? ServiceNow in that case was actually doing a conference and inviting the creators to go to the conference to create some behind the scenes
Yeah.
content. So they're being pretty clever about it as well. But
Yeah. And also
um,
you don't I mean I can understand if you're part of a team that's never done influencer marketing on Instagram or TikTok and you're convinced that management won't give you budget, like just say, present it as a POC, like you just want to test it, you need small budget, and just work with like 5 creators and small scale and just see the potential.
yeah. And even if those creators don't go viral, take those posts,
Yeah,
swap out your paid ads, and you'll probably see some good success. Awesome.
exactly.
We
Yeah.
are unfortunately out of time. Sarah, thank you so much. This was phenomenally helpful,
Of
amazing stuff.
course.
Where can people find you and how can people be most helpful for you?
So I'm mostly on LinkedIn. So Sarah Adam on LinkedIn. Feel free to send me a connect request or ask me a question on DM. My emails, my work and personal email are visible on my About Me. So if you want to send me an email. And yeah, that's it. LinkedIn is where I hang out.
Awesome. Great.
So
And for those of you that want to learn more about using Archive, we've got amazing AI and data to help brands like L'Oreal, DoorDash, Lemmy, and hundreds more scale influencer marketing. Check us out, archive.com, and you can go to archive.com/demo. We'll walk you through a personalized demo with some great data about your competitors, your own brand that you might not have seen. Thank you so much. Excited for the next webinar and talk soon, Sarah.
Cool. Bye.
Bye bye.